In today's episode of Today in World War II, February 17th, Churchill's decision to denude the North African front of troops and equipment in favor of Greece immediately begins to backfire. The United States Army and Marines land on Eniwetok Atoll in the Marshall Islands, and the U.S. Third Army penetrates the Siegfried Line and gives open access to that huge and that effective army, General Patton, to get deep into Germany. Let's get started. Okay, so on February 17th, 1941, if you remember, I covered this in a couple of videos previously. The Churchill had decided that he was going to remove a number of very important divisions from North Africa and send them to Greece because, well, a little bit of background, the Mussolini had invaded Albania and then he decided to go after Greece. The Greeks resisted. I mean, they were fighting the Italians, of course. So what happened? Well, the Italians were pushed back almost to the sea in Albania. Mussolini begs Hitler to bring send in troops. Hitler agrees. Hitler attack the Germans attack Greece, and then of course the Brits want to help the Greeks, so they send troops. Churchill decides to send troops there. This was at the end of Operation Compass. He felt like the Germans were defeated or at least wounded that they could afford to do so. Well, he didn't count on this certain little general called General Rommel and the Africa Corps being sent to Libya, and they were starting to attack. Now, the commander of the British Expeditionary Forces in Greece was New Zealand General Freiburg. And initially, he was told that he was going to have the New Zealand Division, the 1st British Armored Brigade, the 6th Australian Division, and the Polish Independent Brigade Group, and the 7th Australian Division that would go to Greece. But meanwhile, that pesky General Rommel, he made a sudden advance into the Cyrenaica peninsula of Libya, and all of a sudden, the Brits found themselves halfway pregnant on both sides. They were sending troops and equipment in divisions into Greece that were not going to be sufficient to stop the Germans there. They had removed enough very vital divisions from North Africa that they would not be able to stop Rommel. So they got the worst of both worlds there. Talk about bad timing for Churchill. So the Brits held back the 7th Australian Division and the Polish Independent Brigade were held back, and they were going to be the ones to have to hold on to Tobruk when Rommel sweeps by and lays siege on Tobruk for a lot of months. So, you can see here, Churchill's instincts weren't always correct. Let's put it that way. Okay. And, but your instincts should always be correct when you subscribe to my channel. Click on the bell that notifies you when I'm going to have, or when a new video is going to be dropped. That way you're in the club and YouTube sees that my subscriptions are getting higher. That's going to be a signal for them to show my material, my content to more people. Thank you. On February 17th, 1943, the United States Army Marines continued their advance into the Marshall Islands. Remember, these islands had been ceded to Japan after World War I, so they had plenty of time to fortify them and make them into their main bases in the Central Pacific. And it was about time for the Americans to take them back. This was part of the Central Pacific island hopping campaign. It started with the Gilbert Islands and Tarawa. Horrible invasion. Now the Marshall Islands were next on the uh, on the sniper scope. of the Americans, Admiral Nimitz. They had already taken Kwajalein, and now it was time for Eniwetok. And like I said in the previous videos, this invasion, the Marshall Islands campaign, was by far the least bloody campaign in the Pacific, on the Central Pacific. I'm not talking about Southwest part that MacArthur was involved in. MacArthur's was less bloody, but anyway, it was landed. They landed on it. And within 4 days or so, 4 or 5 days, they had secured Eniwetok. And boy, I sure wish that I could secure your like and your comment on this video because it would absolutely be a huge deal for me if you could do so. It's very simple. Just see the thumbs up below the screen, just click on that, and then leave a comment. You're going to help me with in my battle against the evil YouTube algorithm to get my content shown to more people. So I would appreciate if you could do so. Thank you. On February 17, 1945, the United States Third Army penetrated the Siegfried Line, which before the war started, the Germans had built as an answer to the Maginot Line on the French side. And it's kind of funny because neither of those very expensive, very detailed fortifications ever amounted to much either way. The Third Army was able to penetrate the Siegfried Line pretty easily, and this allowed them to launch a massive assault into German territory, into the Rhineland. So after the Siegfried Line, the only natural barrier to attacking Germany proper into the Ruhr Valley and going toward Berlin and capturing Germany completely would be the Rhine River. But they had to get to the Siegfried Line first, and the Third Army, Patton's army, got through this on today's date. Well, it was a short video today, but I thank you for watching, and I can't wait to have you watch my video tomorrow. Thank